It's always fun and light when we lit the behind of our ladies and put it on fire. But we're not burning anyone. Welcome back to Trash It. Let me just move everybody slowly into the studio. I've got Ajike, I've got Celia, and I've got our usual men. And these two, Ade and Danjuma, I really don't like bringing them together because they kind of cause this
because thieves they are.
Thank you. You know, they have this way of, anyway, let's get to it. So, like I said, we're leaving some behind. But before I do that, I'm just going to talk about Nigeria as a whole. Today, I think we're kind of going into spaces we've not visited. Nigeria has the highest rates of paternity fraud in Africa and the second highest in the world. So, apparently, 3 out of 10 Nigerian men are not biological fathers of their children. I can see Ade and Danjuma already going, yes, today is the day. But before we go in, let me just read some stats. So according to the global research done by Durex survey in the late hour of November 2019.
Durex.
Yeah, Durex. You know, they are jobless. They're selling condoms and still opening people's yash. The research also corroborated that 30% of Nigerian men are fathering children that are not theirs, making it relatable to say that 3 out of 10 children, 3 over 10, my math is not that good, are not theirs. Now, Nigerian women rank second highest on paternity fraud behind Jamaica with 62%, who rank first. And those are women who have cheated on their spouses. Sure, be careful of women. But let me go to the women because today is about you, Celia and Ajike. We have heard stories of matters that touch the heart, where a man who has got Canadian PR, but at the point of filing for his 5 children, found out that none of the children were his. So Celia and Ajike, why do women do this?
I think I should send your people first. I will come after you.
I just get them. What shot you to the land?
But I think one of the reasons why this happens, I don't know if it is, but I feel it is because number one, infertility. Our inability to seek other options for infertility. For the longest of time, male factor infertility was not embraced. Even when the woman had no problems and the man had all of the issues, the woman was still blamed. Mm-hmm. So a lot of women under that pressure and under that guidance went ahead to sleep with whoever was available when they were in their heat period and got pregnant, and the men, because even up until, in fact, we still, because this particular week is even Infertility Awareness Week in Nigeria, and we've been talking about male factor infertility a lot. Many men will not even follow you to the hospital for tests. Mm. They won't even agree to go with you. The ones that agree to go with you, just God bless you. Just let it be your problem. But if it's their own, that's another ball game. In fact, it's another problem entirely. So, they're not ready to do the test. They if there's actually a problem, okay, let's adopt, let's go the route of surrogacy, let's adopt embryos, let's donor egg, donor sperm is usually shut down. So these women, they are desperate, maybe they're getting old, they feel, I want to have they want to have their own quick. I'm not saying it's right, but really, I feel personally for me, I think that what has sort of aided that particular thing. I don't know.
Okay, I like it that we kind of, for the lack of a better word, morphing our men into this, that they own some blame. So, Celia, why do women do this?
I think, and I really like the way she's brought that infertility into it, because I wasn't thinking that. I was just thinking that, yes, the woman has gone to cheat again. A married woman shouldn't be doing that. But it's really nice how Ajike came into it, because you're right. If the man has the issue and the woman, and he's finding it difficult to seek medical help, or he's maybe impotent, hasn't even told the woman, and she's gone into the marriage. Or if he has some sort of fertility issues and she didn't know and she's married him, she's going to be thinking she's the one that has the issue. And sometimes, you know how Nigeria is, or Africa as a whole, it's very hard for you to think that it's the man that has the issue. It's always the woman that has the issue. And some men never want to have it checked out. So unfortunately, in situations like that, the woman might think she's taking one for the family and will go and get herself pregnant out there and not tell the man. But the man, knowing that he cannot father a child, and he hasn't also told his wife, he too will just be there suffering in silence and not be able to.
Yeah, there are some men that do that. They won't say anything.
Yeah.
They even know, even when they were young, because it wasn't until recently that moms had vaccine. Mom causes infertility, sterility. In fact, not infertility, sterility for men. There are a lot of men that, and when we go for pre-marriage counseling, focus usually on the women. Most men don't even do all those things. There's azoospermia, oligospermia. There's so many spermias out there, and I'm not trying to say it's right to. That's not what I'm going to say, but I'm trying to explain.
I like the way. I like the way both of you are kind of docile with this, because normally if the shoe was the other way, you would have fired one Bagusa, Celia brought out AK.
When I hear their arguments, I might begin to fire up or whatever the case may be. But for me, I think the society we are in encourages women to bring in bastard children, not just even women, even the girlfriends that they say, okay, some men will say, yeah, the wife at home cannot give birth. This year and the girlfriend, they already have been doing, and this is the girl that maybe on a daily. There are some women that are just fertile, take it or leave it. Some people are just fertile. A sperm will be going on its own, they will get pregnant. So this girl, you have slept a couple of times, the thing didn't hit. She have known that buying problem, this man has a problem. She just gonna call one boyfriend so that see, this man has money. In fact, she doesn't even need to tell that one, because that was her blackmailer. She just call down on nice, let's do Valentine together, Valentine, but let's just shoot ourselves. That girl will get pregnant. Some people, God just bless them with good womb, good egg, good everything, good lining. It's just enter home, and she just have, like Mr. Lagbaja, pregnancy, so now will now go and be abusing the wife. Yeah, see that they have given me baby what you could not do for many years. So at times, for me, I think those are the things that encourage it. I don't know, maybe if I hear that.
Let me go to Danjuma and Ade, because they're so eager to come in and just rip all these your hypotheses to pieces. As you men at the end of this rotten stick, because it's I don't like the word used, bastard children, but illegitimate children came from someone's sperm. So why do you think paternity fraud is high in Nigeria?
Thank you very much. You guys have polished the truth.
Polished the truth, I knew you were coming.
There's no excuse for cheating. If you've done it, whether it was a bastard child, no bastard child, you've done what you have to do. You do not try to make it a bit nice what has happened.
But they're helping men.
I believe giving another person's child to a man, I think it's evil. It's very evil. Because somebody's investing in what's not easy. All this have come to light because we now have what they call paternity or test. Well, it might be happening long before now. But we're not aware because technology and all this was not happening. But and because of technology as well, there's more promiscuity. People are more promiscuous than before because there's access to everything. Before, if you want to speak to somebody's girlfriend and wife, you have to go to the house to knock the gate or call the landline where the daddy will pick up the phone. But now with the snip of your phone, you can even see a woman naked, everything from before the action. So all this has encouraged things a little easier. Sometimes the woman does not know that the child is not. They have multiple partners, so they don't know which one entered at the time. It does happen. But the only problem I have is that it's better he knows from the onset it's not easy. If he had problem medically, then you guys should work it out together. There
But
is,
that is if he's being truthful. Look at what
it might,
Celia said.
it's not
Yes.
about being truthful. He might not know. Some people don't know. So it's different. If he doesn't know, it's different. There's no, a child is a gift from God. A man cannot create a child. God has not given him the child. So you might even be fertile and the child has not come. It's not because you cannot give birth, but that's not the time for you. I can say like that because some people just have it, like Adike said, easily, pam, pam, and they get it. Some men are sharpshooters. Some women are very fertile. So it does happen. But if it was if we let's turn the coin and it was the other way, the man had a child outside. There's no excuse for saying fertility, if it was fertile or not fertile. So I believe things are getting worse than before. The statistics in Nigeria show that the women are the most promiscuous in the world.
We're second. Please don't be giving us what we didn't ask for. According to Judex,
why
are we even sure that Judex
I would say we're first?
Survey is not tainted?
No. Yeah. Why I would say we're first, because Jamaica, there are only 3 million people. So the statistics,
like 200 million.
Yeah. So in that we were 200 million and at 80 million at least is on fire. So there's a problem. There's a fundamental problem, and the society has grown to the space where we have accepted a lot of things we never used to accept growing up. But now we're older, we realize that many things that we did not know was happening, our parents, that were happening. Because that time when uncle and auntie would fight, they say, what's the problem? They say, ask him. We did not know the meaning of that. Now we understand that maybe auntie has gone somewhere or uncle has gone somewhere. So when we've gotten to that stage, we're now at that age that we realize that, oh, it's happening. It does happen. And it's not going to stop in our generation. It's only going to get worse because the society has permitted this to happen. But they said it's not who gave birth to a child, but who raises the child. So if the man can stay after the whole thing, there's someone that's called you daddy for 15 years, then you go ahead. I know someone that said he doesn't want to know. He will never do the test. Now, as far as he has raised that child, why I have a friend that said immediately the baby comes, even without his wife knowing, he must do it. Because he wants to know from the onset that this is not wasted investment. So it's everywhere. But what we should not deviate from the fact is that why are women now more promiscuous than before? Has it always been like this? Because the push is always on men, but realize now it's both parties. Women are even better these days. So that's my take.
We will go into the old DNA part, but I think I just want us to have a broader understanding. Let me go to Ade. Ade, why is it that paternity fraud is really high in Nigeria? Celia has touched on something, men being impotent and not telling their supposed other half. Infertility is another issue, Ajike has said. And Danjuma has touched on something really poignant as well. Some men don't actually know that they're unable to father a child. So if you flip those coins, you're tilting like around, well, it is high, but that's still not the reason, because we're talking about a chunk of 200 million people, we're 80%, and chances are 23% of those children lingering around belong to someone else's that they call father that is not father.
Can I add to the probability that they've stated, right?
Yeah.
It's possible also that because of the culture and the belief perception that people have in Nigeria that I must marry, right? They probably dating a guy who is not ready to get married, but is financially buoyant, he's capable, he's got money and everything. And then the guy that proposed, because of the pressure from home, the girl settled for the second option, right? But she's never stayed away from the first one, which means there's something going on behind the scene. And because she's married, she's seeing the other one, because it still happened now with the younger ones now, that I met a girl, it's not even one, they'll be talking to you and soon they got married and they're coming back to ask men for money when they're married, and there's no way in Nigeria, a married person asking another guy who they've been with before for money. He will tell her, yeah, come and see me and get it.
And then you get
she'll go, right? And something, because of the previous relationship that happened, she might not really be reluctant to say no. She get along with it. She just shake body. She's gone home. Everything is fine. Her husband gets on with the same night or the next day, and pregnancy come on. He's gone to the man to say that's the man's baby. She herself might not even know whose baby he is. Do you get? Do you understand? Because pregnancy is not going to happen the same day. It will take probably 4 weeks to realize I'm pregnant, or in some cases 2 months before they realize. You know,
So
or some cases a month.
are you covering up, or you are supporting them? I'm a bit confused now.
Everybody should
No,
own their
I'm
lane.
not
Let
covering up.
Ade own his lane.
I'm stating the
I'm just
probability
asking.
of
Ade is normally not like this. So
what
I'm
could have
wondering why
had to
he's.
Nigeria being number 1 or number 2. You understand? Because the culture of you must marry is there, and the person that they get really love is not ready. You know, she loves him, but there's a second guy who comes in and
The supporting actor.
you know, and she goes along with that one.
Yeah.
But she still got Larry behind the scene, and you know she's married to Yemi, but Larry is still digging on from the side. So that might add to the situation, because it can't just be the man is impotent. No, there's more to reasons in Nigeria, and we all know there's so many things going on in Nigeria that we all know that happens.
Okay, so
I will have to add it, because another thing I think is the problem is the pressure of having a child. Because when you get married, after 6 months, they even want you to have a baby now, or 5 days. So sometimes maybe the girls are under pressure, the child is not coming, so they try other sources to ensure that the child comes.
Other sources.
The child comes before, because it with what we know, it's really bad. A mother-in-law come in and say, "It's your womb. What's happening? 1 year have passed, 2 years have passed." So that could make them. I'm not trying to justify what's happening, but that could make them the pressure of saying, "Let me have it," and I don't want to tell the men, but let me just get it sorted for us, something of that nature.
Okay. So we've talked about impotency, infertility, pressure to get married, pressure to have children. Now, I just want to take us a bit, because I think sometimes when we talk about DNA, there's always this thing at the back that says it's as a result of cheating. Now, if we could remember, there was this confession of a Zimbabwean nurse, I think her name is Elizabeth Miwawa or something, I'll try and Google it, who owned up to swapping around 5,000 children over the course of 12 years, just for the fun.
Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
not in Nigeria. We don't have the mind to do that.
We don't know. We don't know.
I can guarantee
we don't know.
No,
So she did
Nigerians
this.
don't have that mind.
She did
They'll
this.
do money ritual, but they won't swap child in hospital.
So she did this over a period of 12 years, where she allegedly swapped 5,000 children.
Wow.
And as you can imagine, the women, if their husbands were to run DNAs on those children, the homes that would have been ruined with the lies of unfaithfulness, adultery, genetic discrepancies. So it's not always cheating. So my question, and I will go to Ajike, as someone that has walked through the corridors of infertility, and given that we know that most men in Africa, not just Nigeria, would not want to go with their spouses to go to the hospital to get checked. Do you think, to safeguard these children, do you think DNA tests should be made compulsory?
I think for most men, if it's affordable, I don't think the test is quite affordable. If it's affordable, many of them will do it.
Out of curiosity, do we know how much it costs to actually run a DNA test? Because I understand it's around 90,000.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's 90,000. It's not expensive now.
So I don't understand when you say it's expensive.
I know it's about 100 and something pounds in the UK.
UK, they will even pay for you for free.
About 90,000 naira in Nigeria, is it expensive?
It's expensive, but it's not expensive, because not everybody can afford.
Some people's money wage.
So
I'm not expecting it to be more expensive than that. I don't know, because I really don't care. Anybody that can carry my son, I'll go and test anyway. Really bothered.
So my question is, do you think we should make DNA mandatory?
In Nigeria, it should be.
Yeah.
If you want,
if the government will provide, yes.
Yes.
If you want,
because it will solve a lot of problems.
But just like Yuri was saying, I just read the story now. In fact, the story is trending now on social media in Nigeria. A couple had their baby at General Hospital, I think just a few days ago.
Oh yeah,
but
I heard about it.
They did a scan and their baby was a boy. Another couple gave birth, they have the same surname. The matron came with the baby girl, and the husband said, "No, my wife had a son. That's not my child." Now you understand? If that, just like what we are saying, this swapping of it, they will carry each other. You know, I don't know. feel that if it's something that can be subsidized and allow put men's mind at rest to at peace, let them do
My
it.
question is that why did they take the baby away? In UK,
But
when they put the baby on you and the baby is with you, they don't take the
what
baby
generally
away.
happens in Nigeria is that obviously the matrons, once they have the baby, the matrons are meant to take the baby away, give it a wash. They won't just
Why are they washing it?
Well, take it away to where?
Where? What are
Outside
you
the
washing?
living
another
room?
part of depending on the hospital. I would imagine it happens in private hospitals. I think with general hospitals, they take the baby.
They take the baby
They
downstairs.
take the baby to another room. You know, here when we have kids, they put the baby on you and then do a strip wash.
Yes.
In Nigeria,
In the
they
room.
help you wash the baby.
No, they should not wash the baby. It's not, the baby is not closed. They should leave the baby because this is what is causing problem now. All this washing of the baby. What are you washing? Now you have swapped child. Now it's not somebody sponsoring somebody else's mortgage. No. They should just leave that baby. Everybody should supervise their baby.
I'm
So
back
when you
to
finish,
baby
take your baby
yourself.
home.
The thing is, Nigerian hospital do not have the facility for it.
They
So
don't
they don't
need
have. If you go
facility.
to
They
the,
don't need. All they need is just one bowl
Leave
of
baby.
water and one empty bowl. Put the baby
But
over.
there's no
put the
water
plastic,
in the
wash,
world.
just clean
There's
and give
no-
it back to the mother.
There's no need to even
No,
wash the baby.
but there's no
In
water.
UK, they just clean the
Let-
baby.
let's
It's when you get
forget-
home, you wash the baby.
Let's forget
Right?
washing the baby. Celia, should they make DNA mandatory?
You see, I think they should because it will
Why?
stop a lot of death. It will stop
Yes.
a lot of death. So it will stop a lot of domestic violence cases.
Yes.
Do you understand? It will stop a lot of divorce. It will reduce the rate of divorce. Let them just subsidize that.
No,
thing.
it will increase the rate of divorce. So I'm just want to tell you.
Yes,
Because
no.
from the
But if you
hospital,
know,
the man might not come back.
if you know that when you give birth to that child, they are going to do DNA.
Yeah, it will
And your
prevent them
husband
from.
will know
Yes, it will
that
prevent
child is
them
not
from.
his child
Yes.
in the hospital. You will not go and bring another person's child. At least without telling your husband, assuming he gives you permission to do so. Do you understand? So it will stop the rate of divorce because at the end of the day, I know that when I give birth, my husband is there. They do the DNA. The result is going to come at least in 1 hour, and they will say, "No, this is not your child." So I'm going to, if you're impotent, we'll be there together until we can find a solution. You said?
Okay.
Yeah. They will do Jerry Springer for people in the hospital there and there.
You're the father.
You are the
So
father,
I
you are
think-
not the father.
I think they should make it compulsory. You know the way they just do that? Is it PK test or something like that when they prick the heel
Prick
of the child's leg?
Yeah.
Yeah,
the prick
let
test.
them just do it like that. Let them do it will solve a lot of problems. And not just in
It will solve a
Nigeria.
lot. I agree with you, Celia. It will solve
Even
a
in
lot.
this UK that we are in, a lot of people are parents to children that is not their own. 20 years later, that's when they will find out. And I don't think it's fair. It's not fair.
But if the child does not look like anybody, what now? How do you not know them?
Sorry.
Some illegitimate children look like the father.
Yeah, they do. Don't forget
Is it
when the
because
mother
they play
was
with
pregnant,
children?
the father has been staring at that stomach. So they will collect some genes from there.
Ha!
So
No.
agree.
It could be that the lady fancy guys of the same features.
That's a point.
Yeah.
That's a
And
point.
you know, if the child does not look like the father, it will look like the mother. So they can say, this baby just looks like the mother. It looks like
It might look at the great grandfather.
Thank you.
Because
You know?
it's this thing you're talking about happened to my friend. One girl showed him that he had a baby with, and it was his own. It was like, why didn't you tell me all this while? He said, I didn't want to bother you and all that.
Didn't
So
want
he
to
sent
bother
me-
with
he
the
said-
old child.
He sent me the picture, and behold, the baby looked like him.
Mhm.
So I said, this one has your eyes, you know. And he said he could not deny that the baby looks like him. He started seeing resemblance, but because he's a crocodile, one day he said, let him check this thing really, and he did some tests, and he came back negative.
Ah.
And he waited for the woman and said, why did you put this on me?
Mm.
The woman said, what are you saying? He said, it's not my child. And he was already sponsoring, spending some money bit by bit. So the woman said, she thought maybe it could be the father. I said, for father, that child that is not his own. So the guy stopped all communication. But what I'm saying that if he did not do that test, even me thought it was his child.
Mhm.
Even him accepted that it looks like him. That he
Yeah.
was even going to send it to his father that I've had a child though.
Yeah.
You know, so
Child.
So I don't know where the resemblance come from.
No,
Okay.
the same thing you just said happened to my friend. His name is Wally. He
Outed Wale.
he has a girlfriend, right? They were dating, as far as we know. She had a child, she had a son for him, right? That time Wale wasn't even working. I was making some money, so I used to help him buy Pampers and baby food to take to the girl. Her name is Veronica. She's Nigerian, born here.
Wale and Veronica, you're in trouble.
Wale, I'm me and Wale is from Peckham. Veronica is from Norwood or something like that. So the son looked like Wale as far as we're concerned. The child was
Wale
Wale.
Junior.
He was with us, everything for a long time till the child was about 3. All of a sudden, a boy from Stockwell meet up with Wale on the road and say, "Big man,
Give me my
that
child.
you is my son." And I was, "Are you mad?" You know what I mean? Like proper
London boy.
street fight. Was going to be a fight. Somehow it stopped. Then my man came back. He told us. I was thinking, is he mad? Who the hell is it? We find out the guy's name is Rocco. He's from Stockwell, one of those Stockwell. He was in prison. He
Do you
came
know
out.
why I like you, Ade? When you
Yeah.
drop tea, you drop it with
Yeah.
the owner of the tea.
It's
Cause
It's
you
fact
know,
and figure. Because you have to understand the picture we are creating here. Please go on
yeah,
that day. That's what I
Wale,
like.
Veronica, Stockwell, Rocco. Go on.
Listen, the Rocco guy was going on. So then, luckily, the DNA screen was going on, right? So they said they should do DNA, right? The police got involved because of the fight. It was going to be like a Stockwell Peckham thing.
Yeah, proper one. Yeah.
Postcode
So-
fights. Go
Yeah.
They
on.
now did a DNA. The child is not Wale.
Is
Jesus
it Rocco's?
Christ.
It's Rocco's child.
God.
Ah.
You understand? And the funny thing is, Rocco is another Nigerian boy origin. You understand?
Hmm.
And man was like, so we have to end up allowing the man, and then Wale had to tell the girl, say, you know what, F off. That's
Yeah.
it, done.
Yeah.
You know, it was that child, as far as we believe, look like they had a, you know, like Nigerian mom now.
Hmm.
My second grandchild, she had a big party. The mom had a big party, may I so rest in peace,
Ah.
for this child.
Oh no.
Do you understand?
Wow.
Because the funny thing is, the funny part is Wale is twins, right? His sister also had a child,
Hmm.
right?
I hope it's not by Rocco.
And she gave it to an ex-person before Wale. So we now end up now joking like, boy, all right, but it runs this people's family to be swapping
Children.
thing because his
Wow.
twin sister is turned into a nice brother. Now a girl is done it. What goes around comes around.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And the thing I'm getting at is that
Hmm.
child, that son look like Wale, but you know, you see Wale, you see the child, you say,
But did the
yes,
child look
Baba.
like Rocco eventually?
The child look like Rocco too.
I didn't know Wale
The
is
child
not
is Rocco
dead,
Wale.
and Rocco is the third one.
It's
You
Rocco
understand?
Wale.
And the funny part is, you know why I said some women love men with same features, right?
Hmm.
Rocco
Rocco
and Wale
and
have the
Wale
same
look
stature.
alike.
You understand? You know, they have the same
Veronica?
stature, very small frame and stuff like that.
Veronica,
And,
you did well. She picked them
and
well.
from that time, I won't lie, I fear women. You know,
You know
but
what?
it's not women. She was young anyway. She
Hmm.
was probably
Let's
about.
think about DNA. Are we saying that DNA is the gospel of truth, or can genetics play a fast one on our bodies? And before you guys give me an answer, let me tell you a short story. So there's a woman and her husband that are going through a divorce, and she was pregnant at that point. And because the woman was saying, you're going to pay me child support, what. So they took it to court, and the guy said, oh, the child is not mine. And court mandated DNA. When the result of the paternity came out, the issue came back that she had given birth, that she's not the mother of the child. And they were like, okay, hold up. How is it that you've given birth and this
But you're
child
not the
is not
mother.
yours? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then the husband is the father. And what had happened when they were doing the research is to find out that she was a twin, but she came about as a singleton. So she had absorbed a twin inside her womb.
Wow.
So her ovaries were actually those of a non-existent twin, and the DNA from her ovaries are different from her own DNA. In essence, this one was bearing the children of her sister. So she has 2 sets of DNA, since the ovaries that make the egg was the sister and then her body. So you can imagine that if for any reason, in Wale and Rocco's case now, if Wale was a twin that had absorbed Rocco, and Veronica, sorry to use Veronica and Stockwell as an example, had gotten with Wale. Now she's had a baby, and there's concerns about this child not being Wale's. If they run a DNA And if Wale had swallowed Rocco and his testes,
yeah, or whatever.
did you see where genetics can be?
And you know when the male child is formed, all their sperm is already formed.
Thank you very much. So in this,
that's a point.
Yeah,
that's a point. But on this case, Rocco knew it was his child.
No, but let's forget about Rocco for 2 seconds. Ajike, look at the story. Hold on, Ajike, let me finish this. And then I'll come to you. I'll come to you, Ajike, because I'm interested in starting from you and then go on to the. In this case, this woman was actually, the children actually belonged to the twin that was never born. Wale could have been someone that has swallowed a Rocco. How do we then exonerate Veronica, who on her own has slept with Wale willy-nilly, not knowing that she's sleeping with the Rocco of the Wale? Yeah.
That will not be my question. No. Can't come and kill me here. Like,
let's start with Ajike, then I'll go to Celia, and then I'll go to the men.
That's not possible. When a boy child is born, he does not have any sperm. He does not have any spermatozoa.
Really?
Yes. A girl is born with all.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, all her eggs.
So that is why we are even having a lot of male factor infertility. Why? Because the male spermatozoa is based on what the man is taking into his body.
Form as you go.
We're having this issue of we are in the generation of drugs. They are just taking anything.
Tramadol, codeine, loud.
So we have not felt the impact of male factor infertility. We are just stepping into it. Because a lot of young boys have, how would I put it? So what is supposed to be the basis of forming good sperm, good this thing is almost non-existent. Because for a woman, in fact, when my grandmother was pregnant, I was in my grandmother's womb, because my grandmother was carrying my mom, and my mom already had all her eggs, and one of these eggs.
Okay.
So that's how.
So you could have been your grandmother's child, but it's okay.
That's how wonderful the female body can be. You understand? We are born with millions and millions of eggs, and that's why you see that you say over time a woman, because some women are beginning to have AMH, low AMH, as they're having low follicles at a certain age, from like 35, it begins to dwindle. Because that's why I keep telling anybody that gets to say, that's why you see teenagers getting pregnant anyhow. Their eggs are on point. The eggs are on
A grade plus.
So this from what you just said now, Ajike, it means that the problem is women.
I like the way you bring it back. Celia, don't keep
That's all you picked from every.
I don't know what I'm saying now. What I'm just trying to say is that women. No, I'm not saying.
Because
from what Ajike has been saying, Ade, the problem is from the men. Because don't forget, she corrected me and said all the women's eggs are already formed from when they're in their mother's womb.
Wait. Your egg already formed, right? You could be carrying your grandmother's egg, or your grandmother could be using your egg to donate to another person.
They didn't say that.
The problem is
that wasn't what she said, though.
The problem is within a woman is a complex object, from what you have said. The grandmother had the mother have the child, so the grandmother is carrying two people's egg already.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said.
Okay, you said your grandmother had your mother and you was your mother.
She was pregnant. When your grandmother was pregnant with your mother.
Yeah. You were already your mom.
With your mother already had her eggs.
Own eggs.
That's what I'm saying. And you have your own egg in your mom.
The eggs did not translate to your grandmother. They were in her own body. So when she was born with her own eggs complete, and you are one of those eggs, living, working human being.
That's why I said your grandmother was kind of a complex object. Because if you not break it down to simplicity, you have your mom and you.
Let's move on from Ajike's grandmother. No, let's move on from Ajike's grandmother. Juma, you touched on something that you don't want to be paying someone else's mortgage. But peradventure, this child came about as how controversial children just come when they want to come, and you've lovingly taken care of this child for 10, 12, 13 years. You're all the father that this child knows. It is no fault of this child that the mother has walked in the street of wohodom and
Stockwell.
Yeah, do you get what I'm saying? So why should you then stop loving this child? Hold on, Dan. That will end up not having a child. You're the father, you're the beacon of light in this child. Why not just hone this child? This child carries your last name. Does it matter that he or she doesn't carry your genetics?
I want the child.
But
so my school of thought in life, maybe because of my spirituality, is different. Because if I've raised a child up to 10 years old, it's my child. Forget about whether it's not your blood. You adopt children, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
And you love them. As far as the child is giving you what a father and a child relationship.
Let me break it.
I've not finished.
Okay.
I'll drop. But if I knew from the onset when I had no relationship with a child, it's not my child. But if I've raised the child 10 years, it's my child.
Yeah.
So if it was when the child was born, 1 year old, and they checked DNA, no, I would not go ahead. Because at that time, there's no relationship. But if you have built a relationship, called you father, it's just example of Okonkwo, if you remember the things fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
So he called me father. Yeah. And exactly. And he matched the boy and he said, but he called you father. But it was not, Okonkwo was worried because it was not really his child, but he knew that he had a relationship with that child. So it depends. And sometimes some of those children turn out to be very great children. Because most times if you find out your child is going to be, if you find out that child that you're denying is going to be a Hamilton, you will say it's your child. But if you say it's going to be Anini, you say it's not your child.
But you raised the child.
I say, as far as I've raised the child, what I said is that from the onset, if it was 1 year old, no. But if you've raised the child 10 years, you have a relationship with the child. Because you have children, you don't love them from the beginning, you bond with them.
It's different from women,
Is women love them because you're flesh and blood. For men, some men, it's my child, but you have to it's who raised the child that has the child. Because some men don't have a relationship with their children at all. There's no relationship. They don't miss their children if they're away. Yeah, but some has had a great relationship, had the bonding with them, and they understand the relationship of father and child. Because father and son or father and daughter relationship is a different ball game if you're really into your children. So for me, if it happens to me, I will not let anybody know. If the day they let somebody know, I will run away
with the child.
With everybody. So just let me be in my quiet zone and let's enjoy it like that. Don't make it public.
Okay, but before I go to Ade, let me just give you a case in point. Heaven forbid, you have a 12-year-old child and Madam didn't do anything. Something happened, blood needed to be given, find out that this child is not yours. She myself didn't know. What do you do at that point? Do you then continue the relationship? Because you said you don't want people to know all of us are running away. Are we running away with the mother of the child? It's just you and the child that is running.
See, it depends. It now depends on relationship with the woman, because there's forgiveness, there's carry on.
If you didn't know.
Yeah, if we didn't know, then it's either if you cannot stay with it or you can't stay with it. You have to understand if it's something, because everybody has errors in their life, and some men have been forgiven for terrible things they've done, same as women. But the truth of the matter is, after all this, whether husband, wife, we would die and leave all these children and would die and go to heaven. Whether the woman was faithful or not faithful, we still all die and go. So at the end of the day, were you happy? It's the happiness that really matters. If you're not happy, then you can go. If you felt you've lost trust, you can't continue, you're letting go. This kind of thing happened before. There was a man found his wife sleeping with another man in his own house. He never spoke about it. He kept quiet. She was now scared that he was not talking to her. She wanted to go and report herself to his family. And when the time they came, then the man cried. And that's when he walked out of the marriage, because he did not want the public to know.
Okay.
So something that.
Ade, it's so easy for us women to forgive men when with their transgression, when you go out there and give secret belly, and then Alaji come and say, this boy with the big head, he has embarrassed you, but don't worry, I've dealt with it. The woman is not coming, but you take the child. What can you take a woman's child who has also erred in the way that you men go out there and be shooting things? You two has collected bullets, and let's look out for each other. Why is
okay? I'm going to make
a
few points. Like you said, why is it easier for women and not easier for men? I think women have been raised to, they might grow up not to agree with it, but while growing up, they've seen that men are allowed to get away with promiscuity, whatever they're doing, right? So it's easy for women to say, they will get angry, they'll be upset, they'll be sad. After a while, they just feel, you know what, I have to keep this marriage, I have to be in this. They just, you understand, women. Some women have come to that situation where, you know what, no, I'm not taking it. I don't care what my mom thinks. That's it. I'm done.
Yeah.
Do you understand? But for a man, just like you, if I'm your brother and my wife, your brother's wife, I'm your brother, slept with someone, she's married to me, as a woman, you yourself, you will be saying to me, to that woman, you as a wife cannot be doing that kind of thing. I mean, you will be upset, even more than I'm going to be upset as a woman in some cases. Do you understand? Okay. So for a woman to now do that to a man, right? A woman to a man is his pride. I don't know how you think.
Like we don't have pride.
No. I'm talking about a woman, a wife. A wife. Just like when you're getting married, they tell you this is your crown jewel, adeorie, all this ceremonial stuff. So you know, it's a pride in a man to say this is my wife, right? No man want to share a woman unless those ones that have the crazy fantasy. You know what I mean? Right? Believe me, no man wants to share his woman. No man wants to hear that his friend is sleeping with his wife. But women can easily overlook their man slept with their friend, and they'll just ban their friend from coming to their house.
Women have shock as over.
It's not.
I believe so. I don't know, but it's possible.
So, did you hear what they said? And see,
no, I haven't finished.
Oh, okay. Wait. Are they finished? Wait. Before you answer the shock absorber and the extension and the
spine and tie rod,
the rod and spine that is being connected to the boat and arrow. Ade, land your points.
Yeah. So, some men will accept that child. Like he said that if it's up to 10 years, it happens, you have to carry on because that child is formed a bond with you. The relationship is there with the child, But the back of the man's mind, he will still be running that. He's not his child, but what can he do? He's raised the child. He'll be feeling sorry for the child, not for the woman, just for the child, and not to make the child have a kind of mental problem or depression or something. So it can't, and the relationship that child will have had with the siblings that belongs to him. You have to maintain that order to keep going because you can't let that child be outcast. You know what I mean? It's going to be really bad to be outcast, right? So you carry on. But if it's at the early stage, right, a month or 2 years, whatever, then it can easily say, you know what, Odabo, But if there's other child involved before that newborn, then some men will have to stay in it. If I'm the man, I'll stay. If the earlier children are mine, but the last one she came with is someone else, well, she will be in the same house, but I have nothing to do with it. We'll carry on, leave normal, I won't say nothing. You know what I mean? But as the kids get older, they will have to understand what happened. We have to explain to them, let them understand. Don't let it go out for someone to tell them. You understand? So that's the reason why some men will have a different mind to say, I'll stay, and some men will say, I have cousins that will never marry a woman that have a child. They'll say, no, so I'm not taking any other person's son in my house. Yeah. You understand? But for me, I've got children, right? And if I'm going to see a woman that have a child, I'm all right. I don't have a problem with having a child.
Okay.
Do you understand? So that's the difference.
Yeah. Well done, Adi.
I don't know about your shock absorber, but you can answer
the shock. Going to go to the owners of the shock absorbers, Ajike and Celia. They said your body can take news. So why is it so easy for you women or us women to take it when our men go out there astray?
We don't take it. It's only things like just like in economics. law of, when you opportunity cost, you look at what it will cost you. Really, if he has money, it's not like me, I'm not leaving that money for my to come and be enjoying it. But that marriage will ever be happy. Or you understand? For some people, they will feel like I'm not going to leave this place vacant for another person to come. So that they're not going to have a happy home. Now I don't know, maybe they choose to forgive or whatever the case may be. They're going to have some problems. Some people maybe over the years they go to therapy, they work it out. Some people not work anything. So you can't do doing what they want to do. Everybody be living their life. You understand? So you're just going to look at it. The person is a poor motherfucker. It's going to go. Let's say we're going to this money. I can't imagine.
Ajike, I'm still wondering who you are, what experience you've had in life, because when you talk, you're talking, you make a lot of sense. You make a lot of sense. When you say the money, right? I have uncle very rich. He's got son outside, as old as the second child. Elijah was carrying on. The money was entering. Everybody's enjoying America, London today, tomorrow. Okoya, Thomas, everybody do that. My other uncle that was the head of Gulf Oil that went to
But it's
Chevron.
the truth. I don't have any experiences. I'm married to my husband. But it's just that if you look at it, you have to look at like at times, if I'm talking to someone, if I'm going to advise a woman, I won't tell her to leave. Just leave your husband because of what? I won't, but look at the cost. If the guy has nothing to offer you, or more, very But if he has something like you can see your children are there, you can please sit down, take a very good space, take several seats, enjoy yourself.
That's right.
If he doesn't have anything to offer, he's beating you. Even if you understand, there's so many. If you look at those situations and there's nothing to salvage, please walk away. But if you feel that okay, over time maybe we can work this thing through, or the money is enough to suit the wound, please sit down and enjoy it.
Okay, thanks, Ajike. Celia, are you of the view that money answers all? So if there's money, he has disrespected you, let's move on. As long as we can go to America on first class, you've got an American Express card that has no limit, everybody's okay.
Celia is a Benin girl. She will answer.
Honestly.
Celia loves love.
I mean, I love, but I don't like poverty as well.
I
hate poverty.
Celia is female Shakespeare. You like love?
I think I'm with Ajike on this one, honestly, because let's look at it though. Do you understand? Like, if this guy is an idiot, we don't have any children together yet, I'm the one that is still paying the rent, and then something like that then happens. I'm going. What's my reason? I should not be staying. No, I won't stay. I should not stay and I'll be looking after you and your child. No, I won't stay. I will go. But if I have had other children for the guy and he's a church rat and I'm the one footing all the bill, I will drive him out of the house.
Yes.
You can arrange visitation with your child, period. Because you did not only disrespect me, you now got the woman pregnant and brought the child. But if you are rich, yeah, and I don't have any children with you, and I have my own money, and they leave, right? Because now I don't have any child with you. You have now gone and brought a child into our marriage, and now you have automatically made me a stepmother, okay?
That you didn't ask for.
That I didn't want, yeah? And then maybe you now still had a son, because me, I'm from Edo State, and sons are very important, and you now brought a son. So that your son is not the first son. And my child now will not be, whether it's a son I have or it's automatically the second child, whether it's a son or not. Then there is a problem, because that now I can start seeing that there's nothing there for me. So if I have my own money and I'm not really dependent on you, I will leave. But if I have had 1 or 2 children with you, yeah, maybe a son or daughter, whatever, and you bring another child in, I probably wouldn't leave, yeah, because I want to enjoy the money too. I probably wouldn't leave. And it depends on how you bring that situation to me. If you're cocky about it, thinking that, well, I foot your bills and I do everything, so just accept it, then there is going to be a problem. But if you come
where's your Christianity or forgiveness?
Wait, unfortunately, I married this man in a Christian way, one man, one wife, no children, nothing, no intruders. But then all of a sudden there is
No
an
supporting
intruder.
actors.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
all
but
of a sudden there is an intruder and that child.
People fall.
Sorry?
David, everybody fall. The Bible, people fall. Solomon.
Yes, now. So that's what I'm saying. So we will all fall together.
And you're not
Do you understand?
And get
So-
up together.
Yeah, so now that you have brought another child in, me, I won't leave that marriage, because me, I will get that money, we are sharing it together. So I'm not going to leave.
Celia, I'll tell you about somebody I know. I won't call them, very close, it's family. The man had his very lovely children, and he did have some children outside of marriage. And when he passed, because the man loved education, he had educated all his children, and that daughter, one of the daughters he had outside, was about to enter university, and the father is not there to pay his fees. The wife took that daughter outside, paid the school fees, took care of her while she was in uni. He said that, I know my husband would have loved you to go to uni. And he looked after her. And when the girl finished university, this woman had no business with the other woman. She didn't really talk to the woman, but she took care of that daughter. And when the girl finished, when she was getting married, he gave her the key of the house in the village. That's where they should do the wedding. And she attended it. So I don't know, maybe because she's a very good Christian of her heart. That's why I said the house shock has over.
Wait, Celia,
wait now. Let me land.
See, the way you're saying is gave her the key to the house in the village, which means that's not the only house. That one, okay, we don't really need it. Money,
no, because you have to go and do the party in the house in the village
but
now.
They don't do party now.
What you need
We're not saying they don't do party.
you will
They are
see a
with
woman.
not going.
No, but hold on, Danjuma. You will see a woman do that. If I was to go and be in the same situation, do you think Mr. Bada will send key to one child that is outside?
Yes, but you know that some men like that too, that will look after another man's child like their child. You see, people are different. It has to come with your principle of life. Yeah. If you see the other person as a human and not a threat, because we forget that these people are human beings. There's blood in the vein, and you rendering help to that person does not change one bit of you. It comes to the way of adoption. When you adopt a child, you're not related to this child, but you love this child. But if this child is now of your husband or your wife's flesh, which is blood, what now stops you from loving that same child? Is it jealousy, pride, betrayal? I don't know.
Jealousy, it's betrayal, it's anger, it's everything. See, I don't know. See,
the child that they have outside for Solomon,
I don't understand.
in the Bible,
This morning.
The one David had outside, that was not the illegitimate child. It was the one that became king.
Forget David. Let your wife go and bring another child from outside, and you come and be speaking all this. Get to a point where
when we get to that bridge, we will cross. But for now, they've not done it.
Okay.
So, and it's how the man comes to you, especially when the man is a rich man. He will just tell you, by the way, this is my child. You know, some men very that because they know that they have money, they are the one footing all your bills, everything.
But Celia, most of those girls that are angry now, their father did it. Yet, but they love their father. They do not love their father.
The thing about
at the end of the day, that's their father, but this is their husband. They don't have sexual connection with their husband. That's their father, and their father has just given them an extra sibling. You said?
If the father was like that, why is the man? Why are you not doing these different barriers?
See, the thing is, unfortunately, the deed has already been done. Yeah, the man has already sowed that seed outside, but it's how he brings the seed home that is what matters.
So, Celia, it's only respect you're after. So he can bring it home.
The deed is already done. The child didn't ask to be born. The child is completely innocent in this. Yeah. So my anger will not even be with the child because it will just be so unfair. My anger will be with the man. Like, so you have put this on me. I am now automatically a stepmother. I have to now love this child unconditionally, like the way I would love my child as a Christian.
Yeah, but what Danjuma is saying is
with the man.
Well, Danjuma is saying that some ladies, their father has done similar things, they were not angry with their father, but when
No,
they
Because
have
I'm not
father
sleeping with
was.
my father. I did not take a vow with my father for marriage. What are you
But
no, I'm
that
just
is
saying
not
what
their father more
Danjuma
than
said.
anything.
I'm saying what Danjuma said, not
Okay,
my
all right.
opinion.
So the thing about can I just say I like it because I like where Celia and Ajike are sitting on the same fence and they are riding it mad. And then Danjuma and Ade, they are riding their own fence. But let's bring it to a close. Women, let's be giving the right children to the right father. Because without all of this, we wouldn't have these issues around paternity fraud. But you men, you are instigators as well, because a woman will just be minding her business. You'll be flashing money, flashing yourself, causing them to sin, as is in the Bible. We hold each other accountable. So in 1 minute, I just want to go around the panel and I'll start with Ajike. How best do we then help children who, for some reason, DNA has cropped out that who they've alluded to be the father all their years or all their lives is not their father? How do you surface such conversation? Do you just let it die a natural death? Your child doesn't know. What doesn't kill someone, but what you don't know doesn't kill you. Do you just let it ride and then?
I don't understand. Is it me or the person?
No, you. So how do we then tell children like that? Do we tell them? Or do
You
we
go
just
to
let
therapy and tell them now. Take them to therapy. Let them attend therapy. Let them. I think it's very unfair for you not to tell them. Number one, I'm a very big fan of biology.
Okay.
There's so much, there's so many diseases, so much riding on your biology for you to just sit down and not.
But you don't know the father of the child. So what's the point?
You cannot. Except you must have been a dog for you not to know you are sleeping with in that time. Abba. Personally, I think if you sit down and think, the mother will know, except she doesn't want to tell.
Some don't need to know because 5-8 are passed. So depending on who passed through the road.
So Ajike, tell. Danjuma, to tell or not to tell?
I won't tell.
And the rationale around it?
Yeah, so there's what you don't know don't hurt you.
So you won't tell the child that you're not the biological.
No.
Oh.
As far unless I'm leaving the child. If I'm not leaving the child, I won't tell the child.
Okay. Celia, you don't think so? Tell?
No, I will tell the child, but I think you need to know what time to tell the child when the child is able to understand it. Because when you tell a child something like that, you see, the thing is, I think we did another topic similar to this when we're saying, oh, would you tell? Because I am of the opinion that you tell the child when they're maybe old enough, maybe around the age of 18.
So what's the gain? What's your gain?
No,
in that telling that child?
Absorb the information and they can understand the information. But then when you look at it, when you give someone that kind of information, it can result in psychosis. It can result.
So what's the gain of telling that child? What's the gain?
It's just being transparent, just being truthful that you're not the biologist, but you love the child regardless. Because if you brought that child up to the age where they are at university and they didn't see any difference between the way you treated them and the way you treated the other siblings that are actually your biological children, then they themselves will know that you're a good person and you're only telling them because you don't want to continue in the lie. I would definitely tell, but then I would my problem would be, should I tell them when they're younger and then they can just understand it then, because then it might not affect them too much, or when they're adults, and depending on how you say it might affect them and you start dealing with depression.
Well, you see what's funny? We have never told our own children that we're their father.
Yeah,
so what's the point of telling a child I'm not your father?
Okay.
They assume that they're your father because they call you father. So why are you not defining what father is to them?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Now, Ade, to tell or not to tell?
I think I agree with Cecilia. I'll tell, but when to tell, I'm thinking, should you tell them when they're still young?
Yeah.
Because then, in a way, you would tell them, Uncle Ade is still your daddy, but Uncle Larry.
That's if you know if Uncle Larry is in the picture.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If there's no Uncle Larry, hold on.
If you don't know who the father is, then I don't think you should tell.
So
yeah,
we've got 50-50. So I reached out to someone that was very vocal about DNA, and I read back. She said, and I quote, "It was at the point that he told me that he's not my father. It was at that point that I found out that he didn't love me, because if he did, he shouldn't have told me." So It's very relative. There's some people that feel that information was not necessary. He had treated me like his child up to the point that he told me that I'm not his child.
Exactly.
So there's some people that will say, well, I want to know, like Celia and Ajike and Ade have said, for genetics, but this particular lady who is walking in this current shoe said she felt that she did not need that information. It was pointless to her. And the day he said it to her was when their relationship severed.
Broke. Yeah.
So we will leave here at this.
Sorry, it's true, Yuri, because you see, that's the whole, you don't know where, you don't know. I think maybe as the child grows up, you kind of know the kind of person the child is, and then maybe that will help you to know whether to tell or not to tell. Because sometimes when you tell, maybe they are 20, when you now tell them, the next thing, they will not start finding you attractive. And you are not my father now, you're just my stepfather. So let's run things. A lot of things.
Celia, let me close.
Thank you very much. Close on this. That's the problem child.
So I think as women, and I'll speak myself and Celia and Ajike, we do the best that we can. And there's circumstances where situations happen that you plan and don't plan for. And in our mind, society makes us make decisions that would favor the circumstances that we're in. I need to have a child. I need to be married. I've been married for a very long time. I need to then have a child. So it dictates what some women do. But
Correct.
We're not Georgina and Juliana's on this show. We just bring light to what needs to be discussed. So until we come your way, same time, same station next week. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.